Today, I'm going to teach you how you can progress on your bike much faster because chances are, hey, you're clicking on this video, you might not be that good or you're not as good as you would like to be. We'll stick around for the entire video and I will give you a few hacks that I'm sure you've never thought of or at least, hopefully helpful stuff that'll get you on track faster. Make me a deal if I provide any information or you enjoyed today's video. Hit that like button. If you'd like me to talk about any other topic kind of like this, let me know down in the comments below. Without further ado, let's get into the video. So there is going to the skate park and having a busy session versus a productive session. And I'll get into that a little bit more later, but essentially what I'm going to try to get into your brains today is how to show up to the skate park with a whole productive step-by-step mindset, or the street spot or your driveway or whatever your situation is. Hopefully you'll approach things a little bit differently, more efficiently, and you'll get much more out of your sessions versus just kind of showing up and, screwing around with the double peg here, maybe trying to bar spin over there, learning how to air out of a ramp there. We're going to talk about today, of course, well, that's why you're here, how to progress faster. So what you want to do is you want to build your foundation. So every good building, every good structure, every good house is built on what? A foundation. Something sturdy that it can sit on. It'll never move. It's right there. It's concrete. It's solid. It's a foundation, the base. You need to apply the same concept with your riding. What do I mean by that? You need to master the fundamentals. Your base will start with a bunny hop because that is the base trick of almost, not all of them besides like manuals and nose manuals and things like that, but for most tricks, that is like the key component. You got to get off the damn ground, right? So that is like the core, the most foundational trick. But on top of that, you've got to learn how to spin. So you got to learn how to bunny hop, how to 180, how to fakie, how to air out, how to go off a curb. Learn all of the fundamentals. Just totally work on the basics, master the basics. Don't be able to bunny hop 2 inches off the ground and then try a 180. Because what will happen is you'll kind of be able to bunny hop and you'll want a 180 so bad. It's like, oh, I want to move on to this 180. But really, you'll be trying this 180 much, much longer than your buddy who instead of went from a 2-inch bunny hop straight to 180s, he went from a 2-inch bunny hop, 4-inch bunny hop, 6-inch bunny hop, a 3-foot bunny hop. And then now he can hop so high. He's already on hop 360s when you're still trying to 180 because you didn't master your foundation. So if that makes sense, you got to master the bunny hop before you can do the 180, and you've got to master the 180 before you can do the 360. Don't go ahead and waste your time. That's what I mean by efficient versus busy. You could spend all day trying to do a bar spin, but if you really have no business even trying them, really what you should be doing is working on how to maybe T-bog or just get your one-handers down. And you have to become very comfortable with all of them. It's kind of the same concept. So you got to get your 180s down, your bunny hops down, your fakies, jumping off ledges, fly outs. So you've got everything down. Become very comfortable with them and master them. Be the best at that. If you would like to become a channel member, watch videos early, discount on merch, watch my videos with no ads, and get access to a private Discord. It's a members-only Discord where you guys can ask me questions. We can send memes. We've been building a really good community over there. I'm going to shout out my members right here. I've been stoked with that Discord lately in the channel membership. So if you would like a part of that, cool beans. Click the join button or the link in the description. Of course, we got merch if you want to support the podcast. Nope, we're not on the podcast. If you'd like to see my podcast, also in the description. So once your foundation's built, you've got the cement block, right? And now you're ready to build the house. Now you're ready to go up and do all the extra stuff. So you got the foundation. Now we're moving on to the actual structure. This is kind of whenever you're learning, maybe a 180 off of a curb, a 180 up a curb, a 180 fly out. You're just kind of taking your foundation and you're going up with it. You're slowly able to do it more places, higher, faster, slower in some cases. You're really starting to go up. Your foundation's here and you're building up. Figure out what your weaknesses are. Let's say you can bunny hop really good. Awesome. Let's say you can 180 really good. Cool. You can even 180 up a curb now. That's good for you, but you can't fakie. Well, you need to spend a little bit less time on the bunny hops and the 180s now that you've got those down and just full focus on the fakies because your foundation can't be slanted. It can't have a crack in it. Otherwise, the whole thing's going to crumble eventually, right? So you want to have your everything down. Bunny hops, 180s, fakies, even manuals and stuff like that because manuals are really important. I didn't learn manuals right off the gate. I wish I did because it's an easy way to link simple tricks in long, it looks kind of like complex lines. You do it a feeble grind, but if you can manual to a switch double peg, you can manual again to a Smith. Very basic grinds, but it looks sick because they're all linked together. What I like to do is I like to set goals. Now you're like, oh, that's whack. Who wants to set goals? No, I'm telling you, setting goals, it's speaking into existence. It gets into your brain. I write mine down. I have multiple little notebooks I write down. They're not necessarily BMX goals anymore. They used to be. It's just very important to have it in your mind, have it, speak it, talk about it, hold yourself accountable to it, right? If you really want to progress fast, this is something that you've got to do. Get a little notebook, a piece of printer paper. I've got 2 whiteboards in front of my bed, whatever you got to do, write it on a napkin. Take a knife, stab yourself in the finger and write blood on the wall. I don't care what you got to do. Write it down. Start with setting 1 trick goal for the week. So now you've got your 180s, your bunny hops, your fakies, and your manuals down. It's like, okay, now I would like to learn how to do a one-hander or a tire grab or a no-footer or even a T-bog. Set a goal out 1 week from that date. This date, I will learn how to one-hander. You can start with as many as you want, but if you start throwing on a bunch of tricks and then you kind of don't have time to get overwhelmed and you start losing those goals and not achieving what you've set for yourself, it gets kind of discouraging and the whole thing goes down the drain. So really focus on one main trick, whatever that might be for you. Set a trick goal and then overcome something. Have another goal that you're trying to get better at. So let's say you have this huge fear of taking off your feet. You have this huge fear of taking off your hands. Just get used to doing one-handers, no-handers, one-footers, no-footers, whatever that might be. Let's say you're terrified of ramps. Pump around on the ramps. Spend a week here and there just getting used to flying out, getting used to dropping in. Or maybe you're terrified of grinding. Put some pegs on something. Spend some time doing your fears. And just stay focused on your goals. Whether that's 1 goal, overcoming 1 thing. If it's 5 goals, overcoming 5 things. Whatever you got to do for your personal situation, stick to it. And here's the thing. If you get it early, awesome. Set a harder goal for next week. But if you don't quite get it in a week, keep working at it. There's no timeline. That's the beautiful thing about it. It's an individual sport. Do what you want. You can take as long as you want. You could take a whole month. If you set a goal for a week, I want to bar, because some people set kind of unrealistic expectations, like I want to bar spin this week. And it's like, well, that might actually end up taking a year. So along the way, you have to be able to kind of realize the reality of the situation. Be like, okay, maybe I'm not ready for a bar spin. Dial it way back and start with a T-bog or a one-hander or a no-hander or a tire grab or a tuck no-hander. Every great leader, whenever they come across an obstacle, they have to be able to adapt and overcome and kind of steer away from the original plan and go with the next best opportunity. And in other words, you're not going to be able to bar spin your first week riding, so you might have to start with a one-hander. You got to adapt, realize the situation, and go with that. And just keep working on your foundation. It's kind of like a pyramid. You've got your foundation, and then you've got your 180s, your bunny hops, and everything. You got that mastered. All right, now you're starting to like 180 up curves. You may be doing some one-handers. You're doing some maybe 180 T-bogs and stuff like that. Then you're moving up to bar spins and tail whips. Then you're moving up to flip. Here's a little hack that I taught myself a long time ago. I started with a 180. Right? Then I went to a 180 one-hander, 180 tire grab, 180 T-bog, 180 tuck. And then I was getting really comfortable with doing all these 180s. I was able to do about pretty much every 180 combination there was. And then I learned how to transfer all that knowledge right over to the 360. So instead of learning like a 360 T-bog and then like a 180 one-hander, and it's kind of all mismatched, you don't have to do this, but this is what I did, and it really helped me progress faster because I would learn every single trick in a 180 combination and then just boop, copy and paste that over to a 360. Because once you figure out the 360 motion and doing a trick, because it's a little bit different than a 180, then pretty much everything else applies. You can do every trick. If that makes any sense, it's actually a really good little hack that I highly recommend. And back to the whole having a productive session, not a busy session, this is what I do. A lot of people don't do this. This is what I do. When I get mad, I give up on the trick, either completely or I come back later. And here's why I would give up on the trick. A lot of people like, oh no, I got to get this. You see it in videos, you see it at the skate park, that one guy. But in reality, he's 50 tries in, he's pissed off, he's throwing his bike, he's hurt, but he wants to get it, he doesn't give up. So he's going to spend another 30 minutes in bad shape, in a fuzzy head, and not in any condition to really land this trick. He's going to spend another 30 minutes, being tired and landing sloppy and redoing it. If he would have spent that 30 minutes, if he would have cut that in half, if he would have just spent, let's say, 15 minutes off the bike, rehydrating, maybe grabbing a snack, clearing his head, and then spent the last 15 minutes, only 15 minutes on the trick, maybe, probably not even that. From my experience, if I take a break, I get some water in me, I get some food in me, and I come back with it, and I'm still loose, you don't wait like a couple hours, you don't take a nap, but you still got to be loose and warmed up. If I take a quick break, I'll come back and I'll get it in like 5 to 10 minutes. So he could have spent 30 minutes of just crazy hard work, or hey, chill out for 15 and then work for 15 or less and actually get the clip. You'll get it cleaner. You'll be more happy because you won't be so pissed off. So that's what I mean by effectiveness versus busy. You know, you could go to a skate park and go as hard as you can all day long, but you know, you're gonna burn out pretty quick. You're going to be doing all your best tricks and you're going to burn out. What I like to do is I like to show up, get a good clip. I'll take a 5-minute break. You know, I'll chill out. I'll think about it. I'll listen to some music, clear my head a little bit. And then boom, I'll get another really good trick. And with like pacing myself and walking away from tricks that aren't really worth it and focusing on other ones that are, I can have much more of a productive session. So I'll walk away with 10 banger clips versus 6 maybe sloppy clips if I'd have just went crazy. Whatever that means for you, keep your sessions productive and not busy. I'm sure you guys have seen it a million times in a vlog where I'm like, okay, I'm just giving up on this trick. And so some of you might be like, whoa, this guy's kind of a quitter. Well, in reality, I could keep working on this trick, or I can stop and go get 5 other clips. You know what I mean? Or at least take a break, come back to it and get it first or second try. Because through my experience, I get things usually, if I've been working on it all day, I usually get it within like 5 tries of taking a good break, clearing my head, going to it, not being so stiff and mad, and my brain's all fogged up with like my thoughts and anger. That's why I walk away from a lot of clips, because I try to keep my sessions, especially when I'm trying to film a vlog and I'm trying to, you know, get 10 minutes worth of good writing. I got to come out with a lot of good clips, not a couple sloppy ones that took me all day. You know what I mean? I got to work to be productive, not just busy, because you guys want to see me actually land clips, right? You don't want to see me just trying them all day. Another huge tip is to play games of bike with people better than you. I sucked. I played games of bike with people way better than me for like 2 solid years, and my progression went faster than anybody. I went through the roof, and a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to play a game of bike with you. You're better than me. I'm just going to lose. Good. Take opportunity of that. I still play games of bike with people better than me, just because every single time they teach me a new trick. Whether maybe it hasn't really made me any better, it's opened up a whole new world of things. You know, I like to play games of bike with people from different styles. It's like, okay, I landed that trick that you said on me first try. It was really easy, but I never would have thought to do it in the first place. It kind of broadens your horizon, and a lot of the times they will actually teach you something. Remember the first time I did a 180 bar over the spine? I never would have done it, but someone did it on a game of bike, and they're better than me. So like, dude, I know you, I know your skill, I know you can do this. It pushed me to do it, and sure enough, I can 180 bar any spine because of that game of bike, and I probably never would have otherwise. Same thing with tail whips. Pretty much every like big trick I've learned, it's from playing a game of bike with someone better than me pushing me to do it. And this is kind of a one that I have to remind myself all the time. You know, just have fun with it. Don't worry about being the best. Don't worry about being the cleanest or the most stylish. Don't worry about being sponsored at all. Trust me, it's not even worth it. Just have fun. You know what I mean? And a good way, a lot of people, they'll get burnt out. A lot of people, sometimes they'll get really good and they'll get burnt out. I still get burnt out. I do this for a living. It's my YouTube channel. I'm not sponsored. I do this for my vlog channel. And a lot of times it's like, okay, I'm bored. I go to the same skate park, I ride the same bike, I ride with the same people. Well, then maybe like recently, another thing that kind of sparked it up again is I've been riding free coaster for years. I switched to cassette. It's a whole new set of tricks. It's fresh. It's new. I try to travel to new skate parks, try to meet new people. You know, you get sick of riding the same spots. Make an effort. Make an effort with your homies to plan a trip or plan to go to a different city. Plan to go to a new street spot. Make an effort to keep it fresh. It keeps you entertained, you know? Like whenever I got back on this cassette, it's like, oh, you know, my excitement's back. And it's like, okay, I've been on the cassette for a couple months now, but now I'm starting to plan, like when it warms up, I'm planning all these different trips to go to these different skate parks in these different cities. And it's all going to be like brand new for the first time. You know what I mean? And my love's going to spark right back up with it. And you just got to keep moving back and forth. And then eventually I'll go back to free coaster. I'm like, oh, I remembered how fun this was. And you know, if you keep it fresh, keep it entertaining, the longer you ride bikes, the longer you're in the game, the longer you spend time doing it, eventually you'll achieve your ultimate goal, right? Which is to be good and progress faster. And it's kind of a snowball effect. The longer you ride your bike, the more control you get. The more control you get, it's just over time you unlock things. You might have tried a trick 2 years ago. All of a sudden, it's like, whoa, I can do this now because you have much more knowledge, much more control, much more muscle memory. I mean, if you can keep yourself in the game long enough to really get to that point where it just snowballs, you know, it starts like this, takes forever, the first couple of years suck, but then it just goes exponentially. It's exponential growth. It just takes off. And that is really what happens with people who stick around long enough. And I mean, when you get to the point where you can kind of really do whatever you want, it might not be on a professional level, But you can bar spin over stuff, you can tail whip, you can pretty much do the tricks you want to do, the tricks that are fun to you, that look cool to you, that you enjoy doing. Well, then you're here forever, dog. Good luck. That's a wrap. Anyway, those are some tips for you guys to improve in BMX. If you would like to become a channel member, watch videos early, discount on merch, watch my videos with no ads, and get access to a private Discord. It's a members only Discord where you guys can ask me questions. We can send memes. We've been building a really good community over there. I'm gonna shout out my members right here. I've been stoked with that Discord lately in the channel membership. So if you would like a part of that, cool beans. Click the join button or the link in the description. Of course, we got merch if you want to support the podcast. Nope, we're not on the podcast. If you'd like to see my podcast, also in the description. Anyway, hope this helps you guys out. Hit that like button if it did, and I'll see you in the next video.